Today we're going to find out if the Tamron 50-300 can be a great sports photography in the pro level because we're going to the US Open. Tamron was very kind enough to loan me their 50-300 lens because I wanted to test it out to see how good it would be for pro sports photography at the US Open. I'm in New York City here exploring the nice city that it is, but I'm mainly here for the US Open to see how well this lens can perform, and I want to bring you guys along with me to put it to the test. We're going to be pairing it up with a Sony A7C Mark II because I want to bring a condensed setup when it comes down to going to the US Open. I'm not on official business as much as I would have loved to. I try to work with getting a media pass to try to get a little bit up closer and personal, but this will be the perfect example to see how well this lens can perform at a higher heights in the stadiums, and as well as walking around the areas where you can get the practice courts, as well as some of the lower level stadiums that they have, like the Grandstand and some other courts around. So we're going to see how well it can do when it comes down to the quality and efficiency, as well as with the range into some sports photography into the US Open. So let's get there. It's time to make our way to the US Open. The first task to do is to make sure that we can get in with the camera setup that we have. Success! Got the camera bag in here with everything, so we're good. And after successfully getting in with the camera setup, I wanted to go find this terrace that we did last time because we have the Chase Bank. So we're able to look at the pros practice and just see a different outcome of what it would be like then from the stadium. The really nice part about it is just to be able to capture the pros practicing and warming up for their matches as I'm testing out this camera lens setup. My favorite thing about using the 50-300 is that you can get up close and personal. And now we're off to the Grandstand Stadium. You get to see a great atmosphere from an up close and personal type of stadium compared to the bigger ones. You're able to capture a lot of wide shots and as well a lot of up close and personal shots to get the atmosphere of the environment at this stadium. The players just going up against each other, playing at their performance of high level. To capture that with this lens is just magnificent, all the way from where I was going from the 50-300, and as I kept just walking around to be able to capture some nice photos and videos from afar. And now we moved on to the practice courts, where I was able to get a little bit of a section where I could kind of stick the camera through to be able to capture the pros just up and personal as a practice. Well, hello from the Ashe Stadium. This is the biggest stadium that the US Open has, where you can be fairly up and above, but you're able to get nice and personal even though with this lens. The cool thing about it is with the Sony A7C Mark II, I'm able to use the crop in mode to still have really good resolution, to not lose a lot of that quality as I'm trying to get some slow motion and videos and anything from above. You get to capture just the scenery and the atmosphere as you're just kind of pointing and shooting, especially because this match was just an intense match between Coco Gauff and Svitolina. The match itself was just so nice to be able to capture all the way from above, to be able to get some nice shots, especially with the tracking of the autofocus working flawlessly, and as well just making sure that the slow motion with the crop in at the 4K 60 was great. And we got to capture that nice win that Coco Gauff got that day. But now it's time for some men's tennis action with Tiafoe and Ben Shelton going against each other. These players really put this camera to the test because how hard they were hitting, going back and forth in their intense matchup was really great to be able to use this camera to follow along as much as possible, to keep it as steady as much as I could with, handheld camera all the way from above with the telephoto. The vibration compensation of this lens really helps to add a little bit of stability because at the end of the day, it's a lot of handheld action at 300mm, and as well as using the crop mode to be able to get up close and personal from above to get some detail shots like these. It really just adds a lot of different, value to the lens itself for the price point that you can capture such intimate shots all the way from above here to get some crispy video and of course those nice crispy photos.
and nothing like ending a little bit at the sunset time where we could have a little bit of Casper Ruud playing in the Grandstand just to capture a bit more footage and photos from a different perspective at a different time frame. It was getting a little bit darker with the overcast and everything, so I wanted to test out, pushing the boundaries with this camera lens because it has a higher aperture of 4.5 to 6.3, so I wanted to just test it out as much as I could with a little bit less light that I had earlier in the day, just to capture as many photos and videos as I could before ending the night with some good shots. We are here at the US Open. It's now the nighttime era. We just got done taking as many photos as we could with the Tamron 50-300, just trying to test it out to see how good it would be for photos, just for content creation if you're into sports and everything. And it was a blast to use, but one of the main things of why I love doing it and using that one is because of the range I was able to get from where I was in the US Open and the seats for the Ashe Stadium. See, the Ashe Stadium is the biggest stadium there. It's behind me, right over there. This is just a different court, and it was really cool to kind of take photos all the way from above and zoom in and even do the APS-C mode for video to just get more footage using that lens combo with the A7C Mark II. As well with, being in the smaller stadiums, you get to see a lot closer with the players. So it's kind of nice to be able to get, footage and content that way with that lens. It's just too versatile and great when it comes down to that lens for the price point. $900 to get that range, you can't go wrong, and it's not too bulky to bring with you here to the US Open. So if you're looking to get a nice lens to be able to take some cool photos, whenever you take, your travels to a tennis place or anything like that for sports, I think you're going to be, impressed with that lens pretty well. But now there's always going to be some drawbacks when it comes down to those lenses. Obviously having an aperture of 4.5 to 6.3, not the most enticing for low light. So that's why I did the daytime when it came down to coming out to the US Open, because I was able to just get really good clean images and crank up that shutter speed and even a bit of the ISO to get some clean images. And as well for the video, I actually just even didn't always use my, variable ND filter because I was kind of lazy, but I was able to just kind of crank up that aperture just to have everything in focus and sharp, and it just looked great to me. So pretty great to use. But right now we're gonna head back to the hotel because we are tired, but I just want to give you a little bit of an update of how it went with this lens. But if you have any questions about how it works or anything like that, leave a comment down below and I'd be more than happy to help you out with it. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video using this lens combo to bring it to the US Open to see how well it would perform for some sports photography. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.